Wonderful. So here we are back. Plot points. Final Thursday night show before we switch over to Sundays, where we will be streaming right back. Plot points, Relics of War, going over there. A few of our players are coming with us. Some of us can't all make it. So, to all those that have been along for this journey, I want to say thank you. Picked a heck of a time. We had a bunch of one shots, so we didn't get as far as we wanted, but very interestingly enough, you chose for your last night by happenstance or by actual design to have a boss battle. So we left off last week. The party had actually, and I'll actually bring together a couple different weeks. The party had actually gone beneath the wall through the, it actually has a term, but without getting into all that, where the prisoners are kept. They'd gone through this demonic phase, fought their way through a few various traps over the last few weeks, gotten across, left prisoners behind, gotten into a room with an apothecary, saw some things there, met some undead, got through that room, released the prisoners who had chased after them, figuring, hey, look, they lived, whatnot. We might want to do the same thing. Got across. Klaak brought all them up from the rear. Just as things were progressing, they knocked down a wall. They get into this passageway area, which appears to have collapsed off to the right end, where it looks like the passageway turned and maybe went somewhere, but through something it had collapsed. And the left side of the passageway of the room they were in had been totally brought down, and they realized by examining it that it was a series of explosions. So it had been intentionally collapsed to the left, and possibly they thought that on the right hand side maybe it was the resulting explosion, shaking had brought down the other passageway. But either way, they were in this closed rooms. They organized this motley band of prisoners and locals from both the north and the south of the wall, which is a mountain range as well as a region, and they put them to work. In fact, Nerida became a captain and made one individual there, Stiffens, an officer in her command, because he had been experienced. Actually, he's a former Lazar pirate and had been out there, and so he's used to looking for a command authority of other people on ships, and he just enjoyed being put in charge of others so that he could boss them around. I mean, after all, he was former just an enlisted swabby on the deck, and now he went from a cannon monkey, as Nerida decided that he was a cannon monkey. She promoted him to a full-on officer, and he kind of liked that, being able to boss people around. What they did was they cleared out much of the rubble to climb up this collapsed wall. So they went up the slope, got near the top, proceeded to pull it all out until they could scoot through, which of course then not only Klaak did, but our artificer did. So these two had gotten through to the other side, and they decided to, for protection and for safety's sake, get all the people through first. They didn't want to leave anybody behind where they got stuck. So Huxley and Nerida stayed back, managing over different things, and Aathos was there as well. I don't believe Aathos had gone through. I don't think he did. I think it was just Klaak, and then and Rembrandt had gone through with his dog, because they sent the dog through actually first. It was kind of funny. Sent the dog through. Got through and all that. Aathos, I don't remember if you had climbed through or not, so I'm willing to flip a coin. Did you want to have climbed through before all the humans, or are you back there helping all them out and getting them through as well?
He probably would have helped everybody.
Okay, outstanding. So the three of you, the three main PCs, are on one side of this wall back here in the collapsed room, just for lack of a better term. The room of egress, the collapsed room, whatever you got. And you're helping all these humans through because you can only squeeze through one at a time. And on the other side, you have Klaak, and you have Rembrandt, and you have... Hold on, let me remember the dog's name here, because I keep wanting to go to... oh my gosh.
There's the G.
Godfrey, thank you. Thank you. Godfrey. What was the dude with the hairs? It wasn't Godfrey. I kept thinking of his name. Anyways, whatever. Not Astro Boy. Gosh, that's another cartoon. Anyway, so these ones had seen these three floating lights, and they determined that after a little while, they weren't three lights floating in formation, but were actually lights inside of what at first they guessed was a lantern, until they started speaking, and then the lights all turned towards them, started coming towards this slope upwards, and they realized they were the lights in a skull, two eyes and an open mouth of this horrific looking skull, which was approaching up the slope right at them. And that was when they went, this might be a bad thing, especially as the other humans were crawling through one at a time, one of which immediately exclaims, "Holy shit, what's that?" And that's where we'll pick up tonight, with this one yelling, "What's that?" Klaak and Remy on one wall, starting off with, above all things that we need, a roll for initiative, if you would please, Remy. And I'll roll here for, you won't see it on the screen, but I'll roll, and he gets a 20. So Klaak is going to get a... I'm rolling for Klaak, so I don't think you want to give him disadvantage necessarily. So, if you would like me to, I did say I would leave it on the player, so if you would like me to roll at disadvantage for Klaak, I will.
No, that's okay. We're just letting you know general DM has a disadvantage.
That's it. You use it whenever you would like, and I want to invite our viewers also to chime in and use their points and cause some havoc. In fact, I see Derek has already done that, which is what you're referring to. Derek has put another disadvantage on me, so Derek, I want to honor that. Oh, random magic item.
I had over 5,000 points, and I was like, what can I do for this special? What's the most expensive thing I can do?
And of course, poor Alex is probably thinking, donate them towards the deck of, take of many things. We will get that there. All right, random magic item. We can have that coming up, too. I have something. I have actually quite a few magic items sitting on the side. So, yeah, this is good. We can definitely take care of this in more ways than you will realize. All right. Therefore, I made disadvantage. That is wise. Making disadvantage for the DM is usually a wise thing. Okay. What did I see? Remy got a 20 as well? Dude.
I like to use them on the rolls that, like, you know, aren't going to be the ones that save my life.
Well,
you never know. Sometimes high initiative can be the lifesaver.
It can.
No. In that case, Nerida's definitely saved.
You know, the rest of you may roll in. I see Nerida rolling in as well, even though we only have, for the moment, the two individuals on the one side of the wall that can act, and Godfrey. I don't want to discount Godfrey.
I poked my head through, because you said that I saw the roll, you said?
Actually, I didn't say that because it's a long passage that you have to crawl. You guys had put out these rocks. So if I did, I must have miscommunicated because there's no way to just poke your head through. You got to crawl through this thing to get out the other side.
I think I did because I remember you describing that I saw the thing, but I'm not 100% sure. Whatever you have is best. So. The players are rather quiet. Is our audio on a different level than yours?
Let me check. Interestingly, as you're speaking, the OBS is not picking it up. So
Oh, yeah, we are mega uber quiet.
Okay.
let's try and fix that. So there's our audio tech issue, but why? You know what? I know this now just to delete it. I'm just going to delete it and tell it to pick it back up. Audio output capture, delete.
See, they can't even hear me do the weasels, so I'm not even gonna do it.
We're just gonna pantomime it. We're creating this thing
And-
with large hand emotions. You gotta get like a little thing with the get going. Get it, yeah, exactly, right there. Exactly. Yes. Very good. This was a great story. This was a fantastic story. I'm glad we're all in agreement. It's a good plan. It's a great story. I'm so happy that everybody watching could hear it.
The 101 the Weasel?
That is weird.
The number is never the same, except it's routinely 75.5 because it's the first numbers that always pop in my head whenever I think of radio numbers.
That is so weird. OBS is not. I just told it to add a new output. Grab the output from the. You know what? Let me try this. Hold on. Audio output capture properties. Default. I'll bet you that's what it is. I'll bet you Discord changed it. Let's try that. All right, everybody talk.
Yo.
Nope, didn't work.
Howdy, hey. What's good?
Welcome to the Weasel.
You've been listening to 42.5, the Weasel.
We hope you all enjoyed the hand.
There we go. That
It was a
got it.
snake.
We snaw.
If it wasn't
And
obvious.
let's see, who pointed that out? Was that Derek that pointed that out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Damn, and then Spook.
And why do you
I
think
or
you
was
lost
it Shadow?
2,000 points, Derek? What was
It
it?
was
was
Shadow.
Shaden.
Shadow.
Shaden.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shaden.
Shaden.
All right, Shaden.
Shaden, Shadow.
Shaden,
Shadow, and Darren.
Shadow, and Darren. There you go. Darren, why do you think you lost 2,000 points?
They voted that nothing bad would happen on stream. No tech issues.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's definitely 2,000 points down the drain. Yeah. Never vote against tech issues with plot points. Yeah, you just, yeah. Those odds are insane that we would have a session without them. I think we've only had like a handful, counted by the fingers of one hand. Shade, I want to thank you for pointing out the audio, so we can fix that. We just did fix it, actually. What I'm going to do is, though, to honor you, Shade, what minor thing would you like to inject really quick? So you
A
gotta
wish
think of it.
spell.
It's kind of like a minor limited type thing. So, like, you could
Yeah,
really help
so
the
a
party
minor
right
wish
now.
spell.
Yeah, something minor that will help the party, because we're always about
Item
helping.
occurs right now for us. That's minor, right?
Yeah, they can do it.
The room
Hear me out here.
is
Like he could have the wall slide down, and suddenly all of you have access. We could do something like that.
a level 10 spell slot magic missile on the boss is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
That's pretty minor, yeah.
A
you would
level
like
up.
you would like me to give the boss a level 10 spell slot? Well,
No,
normally I
no,
wouldn't
no,
say
no,
help
no,
the
no.
villain, but
Other way
it does sound fun.
Do those even exist? I don't think I've ever been high enough level to even...
9 is
No.
technically the top.
Yeah.
10 is where you start hitting that godly. You're just getting some DM powers, and we're having fun.
Yeah.
See, clearly what the best thing to do is that we mishmash two different things together, and we introduce the magic item that needs to be included, and we include the magic missiles by creating a Gatling gun with magic missile wands in it.
And then the boss has it.
In Nerida's hands.
I'm not seeing anything from Shade, so I think we might just oh, there we go.
A way to speed the rest of the people to the other side sounds good.
All right, so then that's what we're gonna do. And there is a sudden, you guys have been picking at the wrong rocks and whatnot, or maybe Stiffin's just had some extra people working at the bottom. But whatever it does, it creates a minor landslide on the side where everybody else is. So a few people are injured and whatnot, but what it does is
How
it
many plot
opens
points
up
to make the boss
the
injured by
top-
that?
To make the boss what?
Injured by that too.
We can have, well, technically they float. So
Also, me and Klaak are between the
what'll
wall and
happen
the
is,
boss.
as no plot points necessary, I just like
just
the
the boss,
idea.
not anybody else.
As the top comes down and whatnot, the slide causes not only some of the other humans at the bottom to be injured. Aathos is able to run back. A couple people are injured, but Nerida and Huxley both end up keeping their footing and whatnot. Alex and Klaak and Godfrey, Doggo, start sliding down the other side, but the hovering skeleton head, skull, goes up and floats back. A few minor rocks seem to hit it, and it spins away into the darkness, losing some of its distance, and it'll have to use extra distance to come back. But what it does is it enables Huxley and Nerida, who actually kept their feet and were mostly at the top of the mound, to see the spinning 3 lights go into the distance. Maybe our Tiefling artificer has made something new, a new exploratory green lantern of some sort. I will allow next both Huxley and Nerida to make perception rolls to see if they can identify that it is a skull and not just a Tiefling artificer new bit of magic. Although, I mean, hey, I don't know how much he does with undead things.
Darkness. I see darkness and green. I think that's green. I can't tell, but I think it's green. Huxley, that's green, right?
And I see a
I don't know. What do I see?
Huxley, it appears like a skull floating away, 3, some green lights inside it, spinning off into the darkness.
Looks like something bad, to be entirely honest. Maybe we should just let it go.
And just to remind all of our players and our viewers, some of our individuals do not have vision in the darkness. It's one of the reasons why Nerida has kept a light source with her. She's previously had a dagger that gave about 5 feet, but prior to this adventure, they did light a torch, they said. So they have about 30 feet of vision. And of course, crossing this wall and the skull floating into the distance, it has its own light source, but similar to the dagger, it doesn't shine enough light around it to actually illuminate a large area, but it does let it be seen in the distance so they can see these green flames.
Can I throw the dagger and try to hit it with the lighted dagger?
You most certainly can try anything you would like. Come on, of course you can try.
All right. Okay.
And Remy, you just got foresight. Thanks to Shade.
17 to hit.
Thanks, buddy.
One moment here while I put this foresight on him. And then, wow, all right. And what was it? What was the, what were you doing? Rephrase it.
Was it facing me? Did I have advantage on that? Was it surprised or anything? You could say no.
It was spinning, so I'm thinking it's pretty much surprised by anything right now, but, so, sure.
Okay, because if I hit it, that only means that I can either roll again and just in case I get an natural 20, or I can or sneak
roll
attack
again.
damage. Okay. Plus 6. Okay, that's a modified 20 to hit. So I get sneak attack since I have advantage. So 1d4 plus 4 plus 2d6. Since it has sneak attack. Ooh, 13 points of damage, and it is like embedded in it.
And what type of damage is this?
Piercing, because it's a dagger.
Piercing damage. This
And
thing
it's the
goes,
lit up one, so hopefully everybody can see it better now.
you guys see this flying through the air, this lit up dagger, which I'm pretty sure actually to stay lit, it usually has to stay in contact with you or within so many feet. But
No, it has the light spell on it.
oh, it has a light
No.
spell. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it has my artificer ability on it.
Yeah, which I thought
Yeah.
artificer ability had to.
Oh,
Nope.
does it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
cool.
It is the object. It is completely tied to the object.
Nice.
Awesome. Flies end over end all the way into the distance, and you see as the skull is just spinning around and the green lights are facing you again, phew, disappears into the green flame, going right into the skull and whatnot. The skull continued to actually take on a new angle, flipping in a new direction as it spins a little bit, getting its bearings. And that will do as Nerida's top of the round. And next up would be Remy.
Wow,
Is it considered lit up now? Because of the lighted dagger?
It was already lit because of the 3 green flames.
But for those of us who rolled a 7 on their perception,
No, it's
can I
still
see
not.
it properly?
No,
Okay.
it's still lit from inside. Your dagger literally goes right in.
Okay.
And I worked so hard to make that dagger. Oh well.
I'll get that back. Probably.
Since
so-
we had the
so-
little landslide thing happen, do you want me to roll initiative too, or just wait?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and roll
Oh, yeah, should I
Aathos
also
and
roll
Huxley,
initiative?
please.
Okay.
Well, I guess we're not making friends with it, and Remy will throw his javelin that returns back to him.
Woo!
17.
Nice. Go ahead and roll for damage.
Okay, that's 10 piercing damage.
Huxley.
Also, how far down the corridor is the flame?
It is now with the slope and the distance. It is 55 feet from you.
Okay, I'll send Godfrey 30 feet in that direction.
Okay, guy goes over, no problem with the terrain and whatnot, and runs off.
Okay. And that will be it. That will Rembrandt will get away from the wall, so more people can like easily get into the room. So maybe like 10 feet forward or so, and that'll be my turn.
And Aathos, what did you get for your initiative?
19.
19. So you're right up there. You're at the top.
All right, so we're just crowding the 20.
Well, yes, ma'am.
On my turn, can I use my bonus action to pull out my short bow as well after throwing that
Absolutely.
dagger?
Sure,
Okay,
it's a
thank
free
you.
action to draw an item. You don't have to use your bonus
Okay,
action.
just making sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're enabled to, in D&D 5e, you can draw one item each round. So, bam, you got your item. Dropping free, draw 1. Boom, boom. Wonderful. And, okay, so that shoots us down from... Oh, I have not put him into the initiative yet, so let's see what he's got. He got a 2. He's even slower than Huxley. The spin has really got him off.
He's
What I
slower
roll
than
for
the
all my
asthmatic
monsters.
kid. Ah, gosh darn.
And why am I
Oh
getting...
no, whatever will we do?
So,
Really wasn't expecting that knife.
did you roll for damage? Yes. Piercing. Is that a magical javelin? Doesn't it have like lightning or something like that, or I don't know.
So it returns to my hand after I throw it, and it also gets a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made by it. So it's a +1 weapon, but I don't believe
So that
the
would
damage
make
is
it a magical.
I
Plus ones are
suppose, but I don't.
technically magical.
But I don't believe everything that I've read in the description of it doesn't specifically mean it's magical damage. So it's really up to your discretion whether you want the stuff I make to be that sort of.
You made the dagger,
Also-
or you made this yourself, correct?
I didn't make I made all the I imbued it with magic basically. I infused it. It's one of my infusions. Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And there's a colt.
All right. Well, let me kill this other one, and we'll get all our screens back in place.
Also,
My
Shade
God, it's a Colton.
and Shadow redeemed Foresight for Remy for when that's necessary.
Yep, we already gave it to him.
Yep, he's already actually
oh.
got that in there. So.
Ignore me.
No, thank you. In fact, we're having a fun start. I think the DM should probably give everybody some plot points. Let's roll a D12 and see what you guys get. And I'll even include exploding on this if you should happen to get a 12. You got a 7. That's still pretty impressive, so we will add that right in there and make that a 63.
The BRB really quick, I'm so sorry.
Yep.
You got this.
Nerida. Add some in there. Make that a 65.
By the way, Kitty, not to distract, but I have somebody asking what the cat's name is.
Her name is Loch Ness, but you can just call her Nessie.
Yes.
Much more commonly seen than the rarity of the actual Loch Ness.
Yes, no, she's very social, unlike the
Nah,
actual
man,
Loch Ness. But she's a little monster, so do that for her.
I know a guy who can get you like front row seats to the Loch Ness Monster. $20. All it takes. They're actually a good sponsor. They're a good sponsor of ours on 75.5 The Weasel. His name is Richard. And he likes to go on long walks on the beach and talk about his feelings.
This
So,
is starting to
ladies,
sound like
watch out.
It's starting to sound like a role for like a dating site. And he likes long walks on the beach and talking about his feelings. And...
Lowered expectations.
The
That's a Bo
javelin
Burnham song.
strikes the skull, forcing it back further with the effort with which you have thrown it. Within range, excellent hit, nails it again, and this inhuman howl comes from it, and the green flames seem to get a bit bigger as they come along. With that, we're going to jump back up the scale for one moment, Remy, to Klaak, who we had to jump over because you were rolled into initiative already, Klaak. Nice and high. Klaak, what would you like to do? You are, if you remember, we left off, you were on the slope, the skull coming up towards you. A happenstance happened, our viewers got involved. The slope came down, so the skull got pushed back. You came down with it a little bit. Godfrey has been sent to go and attack the skull. Nerida was able to cross the distance and come in since the slope had come down. Immediately threw a dagger at these green 3 flames. Chucked it into the distance. Hit it. And then your artificer friend threw a javelin at it. Sent his dog towards it. And what would you be doing with your large sword, which you have kept in your hand as you ride the slope down?
I would like to rage, and then I would run towards the creature and start swinging wildly at it.
It is
recklessly.
55 feet away.
Yep.
As a goblin, I believe I can take the dash as a bonus action. Is that right?
Anybody
I can't
can.
get into.
And
As a bonus,
as a bonus. No, I was just thinking as your action. But
goblins can disengage and dash, I think, as a bonus action.
okay, I'll trust the player.
I can't actually get into my character sheet, though, which is like, because I need to sign in.
You know what? For right now, you'll figure it out. Okay, so you dash. 25 feet for goblin, 25 dash again. That puts you 50, so you're still 5 feet away.
I think goblins have 30.
Oh, do they? So awesome. So you close right with the skull as it's flying. Wonderful.
Sorry, it's not. I can't dash as a bonus action, so I'll just get right up to it, but not actually attack it.
Well,
and I'll rage
appreciate
in
your honesty.
preparation. Yeah, it's disengage and hide.
Oh, okay. So great. So you actually get up next to Godfrey, who's about halfway there, and whatnot. You and Godfrey run off, and you are prepared. And should we say that
No, as my action, I'll run the rest of the way, so I'll get right up in its face.
Okay. Perfect. You are right up on top of the skull. Bam, bam, bam. Goblin there, skull flipping around. Just got hit by this javelin. Outstanding. And we shall move on then to Aathos.
Gads. Hello. So I'm on the other side of all this rubble, correct?
Now you actually can cross the rubble. You are on the other side, you're correct. So it would be part of your distance to cross over, which is about 20 feet.
And that would probably be difficult terrain, I take it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see here. Let me take a look at something real quick. I want to try to make sure I can do this. Okay, so do I see this imminent threat of a flaming skull?
You see in the distance the 3 green flames. Go ahead and make a perception roll to see if you know what this is.
Okay.
Because other than
11.
spinning lights in the distance, it's just spinning lights in the distance. And you can see all your friends and allies are chucking things at it. They're sending doggos, they're charging, they're throwing daggers, so it's a target practice.
Enough to notice there's a kerfuffle happening.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. I believe what I'm going to do is that I will use a key point to use Step of the Wind, which will allow me to take a dash action as a bonus action, and my jump distance is doubled for the turn. And what I'm kind of hoping to do is just to leap as much as I can of this rubble and just run and get in there as quick as I can.
Nice.
I don't know how much that bonus action is going to get me, though, so...
Let's try it out. I love the idea.
You think I should roll in acrobatics?
Sure.
Okay.
I wasn't going to have you roll anything, but if you want to roll.
Yeah, I wanted to try to jump over the rubble as much as I could to try to limit the amount of movement, the difficult
Jump
terrain
is usually equal to your strength score, I think.
It is, but he wanted to make a roll, so we just allowed it.
Yeah.
So he jumps right up, comes skidding down the other side, hop, 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 and you are basically down with everybody else.
Okay. Can I get within 30 feet of that flaming skull?
No, because where they are on the other side of the rubble is still 55 feet to it. But you have cleared the 20 feet of rubble.
I cleared the 20 feet of the rubble. That's the bonus action. Can I use my move action to try to get within that much?
Absolutely. You can get 30 feet. That's your move. Right?
40, actually,
40.
at this point.
Sweet.
Indeed. Monk movement.
Monks.
Yeah.
I know.
Stunning strike is garbage. I hate it so much.
I love it. I love it.
Okay. Well, I guess considering that I only really have one action left, I'm just going to go ahead and lob a Radiant Sunbolt.
I thought you were using your... Okay, so you were using your move, right? You used your bonus, you used your move, and now you're using your action. Okay, so do it away, brother.
Lob a Sunbolt. Here we go. 13. Can I use 7 plot points on that?
You most certainly may, and then you may roll for damage.
Okay. That is 5 points of radiant damage.
The radiant damage, as you all see this bolt of light blast out from Aathos, who still looks like the drow last I remember. Is that right? Are you still looking like a drow?
I think so. I think that hasn't really changed.
He's like, this drow runs by you, hopping down over the boulders, moving as quickly as anything, very agile, and then releases this light towards the thing. And as it does, that inhuman howl stops, and it's almost like the two green flames to the eyes get smaller and focus in on Aathos that's just hit it, and it stabilizes where it is. And, it's zoned, ready to attack, but Huxley has yet to make Huxley's move. Fireball! Sorry.
Yes, Huxley. Huxley sees everybody else who's attacking this creature that clearly looks pretty darn evil, but I don't believe we have any. Yeah, we don't have any. It's got eyes. You said right, like the flames in the eye sockets.
Yep. You can consider the flames eyeballs if you like.
Yeah. How far away is it from me?
About 55 feet.
About 55.
Oh, wait, no, because you're still on the other side, so you've got about 75 feet.
75, okay.
Somewhere in there, like 65, 75. Because you and Nerida were at the top, so I guess.
I have 25 feet, so I could use my action and my bonus action. Not bonus action. I could use my whatchamacallit, my walking and my action to close 50 feet with it, and I think that'll have to be my turn.
So
I mean, not close, but like get closer.
Right. So if you travel about 50 feet, yeah, in your next turn you'll be able to close with it, not a problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
Or
okay, then that'll be my turn.
Okay. So Huxley uses his movement, especially with Huxley's. Would you do me a favor and make a Constitution roll for me? Because that was pretty jaunty to get over all those rocks and kind of get that distance. I mean, that was really hard.
Oof,
it was especially hard for Huxley. When you get there, you will be winded and only able to take half your movement next turn because you're like,
okay.
That was a heck of a sprint for you, Huxley. Well done.
Thank you.
At that point, the skull, which is zoned in, and now picture right on top of the skull is Klaak. And it seems to care nothing for Klaak, zipping by him, giving him a free opportunity of attack as it passes by within reach of his greatsword. You are muted, I think, buddy.
I think I have to take it at disadvantage.
Why is that?
Because it's a big sword and I'm a little guy. I think we decided that a long time ago. So I don't have Reckless right now, so I have to take it at disadvantage. But I will try to hit it.
Okay. I'm going to give you plot points for that one, for staying in there.
Massive flexi sword.
Oh, it took a crit from me, too. 24.
Oh, still a good hit.
And then he ends up with 20. Jeez, you go from a... Wow. Two massive things.
Do you see why I was okay
and
with...
an 18.
Roll for damage for me, please.
Okay.
Oh, real quick, Sean, by the way, I can't remember. Have I taken any damage since we rested last?
Not to my knowledge.
So.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Yeah. To me, it seems good. All right, 10 great smack at the back on this thing as it flies beyond you, going not near Godfrey or anybody else who's turned up there, but straight at the monk who has gotten a little farther than... Well, actually, no, because you'd already cleared. Then you did 40. They were at 30, so yeah. So the monk is actually a little bit closer. He closes in, comes screaming at him, and as he does, green flame shoots out towards the monk, who instinctively tries to dodge, but let's see if I can hit your... Oh! Literally, he does this split, goes down, and the green flame goes right over his head. And then the monk, pops back up on his feet. So you're not prone or anything like that, but just dramatic effects. You're doing all this monk dodge and whatnot. The flame shooting against the wall, but then his flame, as it rockets outwards, similarly to the monk, lights up this room, and you realize the corridor, as I said, that had been collapsed back and forth, in here is lined with what appear to be writings, and as I recall, nobody here speaks languages. Yeah, I don't think anybody's got that one. All right, you can be quiet. Oh my gosh, I gotta turn that off. All right, can you please be quiet? Thank you.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, I'm like, really, that is not the theme music for tonight's game, is a cowboy sound, so.
I think I'm
Yeah,
gonna
all of a
claim a
sudden-
dance party though.
Everybody's got cowboy hats on. All of a sudden, stare at each other down.
And suddenly the first magic item of the night appears as the skull is wearing this big cowboy hat now. Literally. Because as the green flame shot out, you were able to see this illuminated on its head. This not 10 gallon, but probably 30-gallon
The cap
cowboy
of
hat.
10 gallons. The
Oh
cap
my
of
god!
10 gallons. That is the magic. That has to be a hat that literally can hold 10 gallons of any liquid.
And there it is, spitting on top of this
So
skull
worth
and
my
whatnot.
5,000 points, y'all.
You know, oh, and another wild magic surge comes into the
Oh,
game
shit.
thanks to Spicy
I'll be
Sitsu.
sure
I should have actually had some roll earlier because I realized there was
okay,
one
spicy.
waiting. But we will make sure there's
We love you
extra
too,
wild
Spicy.
magic surges happening
We're gonna remember this come Monday.
We love you anyway, no matter what.
Author.
So, I just realized I can help this out a little bit. Here we go.
Oh,
God.
love it. Love it. Love it. Love
I
it.
thought that was a
Plot
fedora for a moment, and I was like, "Spooks, no, you're on Twitch. You'll never."
Nerida, you are
And then-
top of the round.
and
The
I can
other
take
individuals
this
that are
further.
screaming are scrambling around, looking at different things in the rocks.
Oh my god!
These guys are, a
Yeah.
couple of them actually start to throw rocks forward at this thing, having already been stripped of all their weapons and armor by the constabularies that put them down here. They use what they have, and suddenly there's a hail of rocks that start hitting the skull, pelting off of it and whatnot, as this thing has closed with Aathos, but now Nerida the pirate in charge. What do you want to do?
Does Stiffin's get a turn because I gave him a weapon?
What weapon did you gave him? The shiv, right? Which is
Gave
like
him a
up
shiv.
close and personal. Yeah,
Yeah.
Stiffens ain't that stupid to go close this thing and try to stab it with a
Okay.
shiv.
Shiv the fire skull? No.
Stiffens is like,
I tried!
no. But he actually was organizing the others to throw stones. He was like,
Good boy.
guys, Chuck,
Good man. Good man.
if we
Good
had
job,
if we had the
Stephens.
wooden dowels to tie off ropes, they'd be using those as billy clubs. But
Good man, Stiffens. Keep up the good work. Pew pew! I am going to I'm gonna move a little bit closer, so that I'm already within 80 feet of it, aren't I?
oh yeah.
All
You're-
right, then
you're
I
like-
am going to. Okay, question for the DM: are we using Tasha's stuff? I can't remember.
It's all open.
Okay, so I can take a bonus action to steady aim.
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to bonus action steady aim, which gives me advantage on this attack. Which also means that if I hit, I get sneak attack because whenever I have advantage on the attack roll, I can do the sneak attack. So let's try
Go
to
for it.
hit. R1d20 plus 6, 18.
Woo! Roll for damage.
All right, so R3d6. 2 of these d6 are my sneak attack. Okay, 11 points of piercing damage.
Actually, one of those dice exploded, so you need to add on another d6.
Yeah. That's another
And it
6.
explodes again, so add it on again.
That's 5 more. So that is a total of 17, 22 points of damage
And you were doing this with your which weapon?
with my short bow.
Short bow. Nails it out, and literally as this thing's roaring, shooting flame, you shoot it right back into the mouth, and the green flame in the mouth for a moment seems to sputter and go out as you hit this thing right in it, causing it to once again, like try and reorient and spin slightly, seeking this new, deeper threat upon it. Klaak. If you want to try and run after this thing, you can. You can close the distance and attack it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be raging. I think I already was raging before, and I'm gonna run behind it, and I'm gonna hit it with my great sword recklessly. So now I don't have to have disadvantage, but I don't get advantage.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hit him right in the back, the skull.
Oh, what a beautiful strike. Roll for damage.
Nice.
God, so I had
You
a
guys are
20
getting
and 18 and a
magnificent rolls.
19,
Man, tonight
Another
is the night
10.
of rolls.
another 10
Slash.
right behind him.
You hit in this thing, and as you do, the hat goes rolling off the head and whatnot. You've knocked the skull around. It was so intently focused on Nerida. Is there anything else you want to do for your turn?
That's it.
Okay, Rembrandt.
Bonus action, pick up the hat. Action, pick up the hat.
Rembrandt,
Put it
you
on
and
your
Godfrey
head.
have turns.
Okay. Second verse, same as the first, except with a little spice. If there is room, Godfrey's gonna run the other 30 feet, or I guess 25 feet to this flame skull, and my bonus action, he'll do the chomp with his force rend. Blammo, that's a 20, dirty 20.
Woo! Roll for damage. Chompy on this thing.
3 force damage.
Ooh, right into the back of the skull where Klaak has just hit it. This wicked thing. And Godfrey pulls off a chunk of the skull for a moment. Arrgh, snap. Pulls it right off.
And then Rembrandt will throw his javelin. Wow, good rolls today. 22.
You guys are nailing the roll.
Yeah, for 9 piercing damage.
And the javelin goes out, cracks again, and you see another splinter go up the skull as it starts to crack even further.
Okay,
Aathos.
Spooks must have seen my comment because now it's uncanny.
Yes.
Oh,
Are you looking for the doc?
I actually have no idea what character this is, but I decided to just go full ham on it. So
Oh
here
my
we go.
god.
Spooks, you're a gem, never change.
And I can't forget gun arm.
you're up, Aathos.
Oh, sweet. Pew pew. All right, so let's hit it with another couple of those sunbolts. I'm going to use a key point to actually use my flurry of blows to use 2.
You close with it. You start making your attacks.
Oh no, I'm just shooting at it.
I
The radiant sunbolt can actually be used with flurry of blows.
Nice. I had not
whoops.
remembered.
I rolled
Does
damage.
flurry
That
blows
was an
still give you
accident.
2 of them?
Yeah, it'll give me 2 total.
Ooh, nice.
Got a 15. I'll add 1 plot point to that. We'll see if 16 is the sweet spot.
Roll for damage.
Fantastic.
It is for you
since
today.
I rolled damage already preemptively, it was 4.
Nice. Blazing light hits this thing, and now you see that not only has the light gone out in the mouth, but the green light inside the skull that's shining out through the eyes, those flames, are surrounded by an almost whitish light that it seems to be burning, caught from Aathos inside it. Huxley, you are up. Oh no, Huxley has cats.
The second shot though.
I love the cat behind Huxley. It's like, why are you holding that cat? Excuse me. I'm here. Hello.
It's are you using a key point to stunning strike?
No, I was using a key point to use flurry of blows so I could shoot twice.
There you go.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
So you did the 4 plus.
Oof.
Oh.
That one's just a miss. I'm not going to use any points on it.
You sure? You got 64.
You know what? Yeah, let's just put another 6. It's fine.
Yeah.
And we'll call that a hit for you again.
Okay, and then we'll roll another pink point of damage.
Yep.
That's max damage at 6.
Exploding dice. Go for it.
And then after that, if I have enough room to maneuver around it with my 40 feet of movement, I'm going to try to run around it and get behind Klaak.
Make sure you roll another dice roll because you exploded.
You hit max dice, so dice explode.
Oh, sorry. That is a total of 5. It is 3 plus 2.
And part of this cracking on the skull goes all the way around to the eye, and a chunk of it falls off, and you see the green flame in the middle, now much smaller, barely hanging on, as the skull seems to be wavering, going down closer to the ground. Huxley, you're up.
All right. So Huxley's movement, you said, is cut in half.
Yes, for this
I
turn.
feel like a me fighter.
Okay.
But it flew. But the reality is, it floated past the others to literally, it's about 15 feet from you now. So I don't know if you can reach that or not. Oh.
Yes. Huxley wants to cast blindness on it, so it needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Does it even have eyes?
It has flames in its eyes, so I figure like maybe.
And with that, you see the last of the green flame go out, and the skull just starts to spin in the air, about 2 feet off the ground. This big skull right near the hat, and whatnot. Rocks continue to pummel down. I need Huxley to make an acrobatics save. I need Klaak to make an acrobatics save, or dexterity save. Sorry, I said acrobatics, but it's dexterity save for Huxley. Dexterity save for Klaak. Nerida had done distance. Remy had done distance, and I need Godfrey to make a dexterity save as well. And Aathos had done distance.
Ouch. A 13, a 7, and a 5.
So all of you from the rocks that have been raining down at this thing.
Did I see this happening? Because I think I have advantage if I can see that it's happening.
The rocks? Sure.
And
I'm not blinded, deafened, or incapacitated.
Percent.
Can
So 19.
Okay. You do save, and you only take half. So anybody
Does
else?
foresight apply to saves, or?
Foresight, I have it listed under there. I thought it was for attacks.
No,
but
it's
I'll get
attacks
you
and
to-
ability checks.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So there you go. And ability checks.
But not ability checks and saves are different, so I'm not gonna use it.
I'm fine with that. Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it. We're having fun tonight. Come on, you're one of the ones that can't
Godfrey.
make it to the new thing. Like, we're going to say no tonight. Come on.
That's fair. That's 11.
That's an 11. Okay. So between
Oh
the
my!
rocks...
Oh my God! Spooks!
Look dead on.
we need.
How do you
we
have the
need
whole
to-
outfit for this character?
He does. Yeah, he doesn't even know about the character.
I don't.
So,
What can I say?
Godfrey
Just,
takes...
I'm-
Godfrey takes
I'm
3
a bounty
points of
hunting
damage.
machine.
Klaak, you take 1 point. Huxley, yours was a
It's 7.
So you take 3 points as well of bludgeoning damage from the rocks
Okay.
that are raining down, and many of which were hitting and bouncing off. And the skull is floating, spinning in a circle, and it will randomly attack in a direction of
Fingers crossed.
missing
nobody.
all of you, and it goes
Woo!
straight towards the wall, where it hits the wall, cracks into it, and stumbles back off of it, losing its turn, leaving Nerida at the top, still with the bow in her hand.
Yay! Steady aim! Pew!
Nice. Roll for damage.
One of those exploded. So that's a total of 9, 10, 11, 12 damage.
And as you hit it, the skull shatters, falls to the ground, and as soon as the pieces hit the ground, they turn to dust. And the piece that was still in Godfrey's jaw also turns to this dusty ash, leaving him with nothing, just chomping at empty air. The light that was captured inside it, even from Aathos and others, gone. And you're left in darkness.
A little dagger is still glowing over there where it was embedded. Where it drops to the ground, I'm sure.
Sure.
But other than that, it's darkness. Okay.
What
killed
the hell
it.
was that thing?
It was on fire and it was a skull, so a fire skull?
Klaak is that a goblin, Ken?
I don't think so. It was Bernie, though. Why is everything burning in here?
Not
I'm
everything was kin
I'm
of
not
goblin.
Did Klaak pick up the hat?
I haven't. I don't think it was human or anything like that, so it's probably not.
Oh,
But humans aren't goblins. Why is
I thought
if
humans
something's
were descendants of goblins.
Wait, hold on. But you're not a human, but you're a goblin. So by that logic, but things that are human aren't goblin. That does not have. Why is
Well,
that the
didn't-
qualifier?
It doesn't have, like, arms or legs or a body, though. So how would
It's
it...
just a skull.
Yeah, it could be just something dead that came back or something
Let
scary.
me
I
go over
don't
to
know.
the hat.
The hat's not visible within the 5 feet of radiant light, so you'd be walking in darkness, and you can absolutely try. So go ahead and make a investigation roll with disadvantage.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Rembrandt can just see the hat.
Nerida's like, where did it go? Rembrandt's like, right there. Where?
Yeah.
Right there. Where?
You could see her like moving around within about 5 feet of it because she remembers where it fell and whatnot.
It's right there. What are you?
See it, Remy.
It's to the left. No, your other left.
I know what left is, okay?
It's the one that makes the L.
Right, okay. No,
No,
left.
that's the wrong one.
Okay.
And a moment later, you have the hat in your hand.
I'm gonna take the hat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's what kind of style is this hat?
Double brim
I'm
cowboy
gonna go over
hat.
to the dagger
Curls up over
that
on
I
the
threw.
side.
So
If
that
you
I
need
can
a
see it.
reference, look at Spooks.
I can't. He's
Who's
blacked
no are
out right
visible?
now.
Oh, no! My gosh, we're just layering it out.
Oh my god.
I don't know
I'm
what you're
laying
talking
it on
about.
tonight.
I've been like this the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Oh
my
my
god.
God.
That is splendid.
I
Pure,
love
pure
it.
and simple.
I'm gonna take the hat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put it on my head.
As you do, you pull it around your ears on your head, and it starts to immediately shrink to the size of your head. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's a perfect fit on top of your head, letting you know that, yes, indeed, it is magical.
How do I look?
Pretty good. That's
Thank
not a
you.
bad hat.
Is a
Stiff
hat.
wish
It
I
needs a
would've seen
feather, but
Stiffens
you know,
walks up
Oh.
and asks if that's your captain's hat.
it is now.
Aye, Captain. And then he gets everybody else and starts cheering for the captain, but the others are reluctant to come until he pulls out his shiv and starts threatening some of them, and then the cheer starts going up eventually. Huzzah for the captain at her fancy hat.
That's beautiful.
He clearly believes in leading this crew by knife point, except for the other officers now.
Does anybody have a feather? No? Okay,
One
we'll find
person
one later.
reluctantly does have a feather that they have worn.
Remy
Stiffens
also
goes over and
has-
I'm wearing
snatches
the
it from
feather.
them. Yep.
Remy also has a feather, a fire feather.
Oh, right, but I'm not going to give that away.
Oh. I thought it was for a good cause.
It is for
I
a
need a
good
feather
cause.
for my hat, Remy.
And Stiffens brings
It's a
over this
ludicrous
feather that he
cause.
has taken from the other individual and
We've
hands it to you.
commandeered a feather. You're good, Remy. I put it in my hat. I'll take
Yeah.
like the dagger if I need to make a little hole if it doesn't have a little roundabout thingy on it, and I'll just make sure that it stays in.
Not a problem. Moment later, you have it all tucked in there, just the
Yes.
way you like.
Perfect.
Also, Sean, if you could check your Discord messages and just very briefly. That popped into my head literally just now. So.
Okay.
I'm
We'll
gonna pick
wait
up
and
that
see how
dagger
that
of mine.
works out. Wonderful.
I'm gonna pick up the dagger of mine and start investigating the room with it. See what I can find.
Okay. And what are the rest of you planning to do? We're out of initiative right now for the moment.
Did you say? So you said this is like a square room, like longer, like rectangular, or is this like Why do I think that there's something in the middle of this room? Like
There is nothing in the middle of this room. It appears to be the corridor that you guys had entered into previously, which was a large corridor.
That's
It had just had a section of it knocked down. As you come into this other area, which is the corridor continued, there was actually an arch previously which had collapsed, been exploded. Hey, Skyrudo, thanks for following. We truly appreciate that. Thumbs up to you.
Yo.
We absolutely awesome to have you here tonight. The corridor that you're in is massive enough to be a room. And along the walls, and Nerida can see this, those of you as you approach with the low light vision from her and whatnot, your dark vision again can turn darkness into low light vision into bright vision, can see that there are runes along much of the walls. And at the far end, similarly to the archway that you came in by, there is another arch, but this is much smaller. It appears to be doorway sized. So there is another exit from this place. Most of the individuals that have come in here are human and do not have dark vision like the rest of you. So many of them have actually gathered around and close to Nerida, staying within that 5 feet of light, giving her this crowded effect around her.
Whipmaster.
Well, I gotta say, Aathos
Yes.
is probably poking at the ashes.
Okay.
Whipmaster.
Yes.
You think this room looks like it's scary, like the one that burned me before?
I don't think we see any runes that are lighting up like it did in the other room.
I believe the one thing we've learned on this journey is that anything that seems a certain way rarely is. I'll have a look around. Maybe I can see if there's anything resembling some sort of arcane trickery in this room. And Rembrandt will look around and can I make a roll?
You most certainly may. Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Right.
And then
That isn't.
I do need to check with Aathos because nobody else here speaks Draconic. Aathos, what were your languages? I don't have it written down in front of me.
Let me go back. I believe that was one of them.
Yeah, I have.
I'm
Actually,
gonna
I do have
use,
down Common, Draconic, Giant, and Goblin for you. Actually, I just checked my
Yep.
other sheet. Yep.
That is true.
So
I'm good.
go ahead.
I rolled a 8, but I'm gonna add 9 plot points to that to make it
17.
17.
Okay.
Yes.
As you do, you realize that the runes on the wall are written in the same style, which you can't read, as the previous room where it had lit up in the heat room when there was metal in it that began to glow over time. So you know that there's some sort of connection between these runes and those runes in the last room that you passed. Let me adjust your plot points.
I think you may be right, Klaak, but normally there's something that triggers these things, and there's time for us to rebound. So maybe just proceed with caution, yes?
Okay. I can take the front if you think that's wise.
Aathos, you find
Mine.
something interesting about the ash that you're playing with. These, the bone meal chips of it, the texture and whatnot, appears to have an almost magnetic quality. Now, I'm not talking about magnetic to you. I'm talking about magnetism to one another. In other words, as you play with them and you pour them out, they almost seem to come together into a pile on their own consistently. Like you scatter them and they seem to slowly draw as if they were being pulled.
Okay. I'm not really going to say anything to anybody, but I'm just going to silently stand up, and I'm probably going to spend about, a good 12 to 20 seconds just blasting it with more sunbolts.
Okay. You guys see these flashes of light as he's just like meow, 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 over there with light. And with each
You think he's
blast,
defective?
the stuff
Possibly.
seems to scatter further across the floor as you do so.
Like,
Dust myself off and walk back over to the others.
Lore Master, you might want to check him. He doesn't seem right.
Are you quite
Wait,
alright,
who-
Aathos?
Hold on. Which one is Lore Master again? We can all read, Klaak.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't know about
amazing.
Huxley.
Yeah, sorry. Wait, hold on. Aathos, can you read?
Yes, I'm very capable of reading.
Okay, so yes, I'll be Lore Master number 1. Nerida can be Lore Master number 2.
I like
Aathos can be
Whipmaster
Lore
better.
Master.
She's
Number 3.
she's definitely my Whipmaster. Have you
Okay,
seen how many
Whipmaster.
people she's press ganged into our service?
That is very true. Wait, that's cool. Okay,
And I have a
I'll be
whip.
Lore Master number 1. Aathos can be. Honestly, Aathos, I'm at a
Change
loss
master.
as to what you
it
are.
changes.
constantly.
It changes shape.
Okay.
So change
Change
master.
And then Hux.
Tertiary Lore Master.
Tertiary
Change
Lore
master.
Master.
Change master.
Yes.
Aathos, you need to sit down.
Yes. Why were you
I
doing
don't think
that? Aathos?
Huxley. You said you can.
No, I mean,
Right,
okay.
okay.
I'd learn for you.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
And
Okay,
then we
so
could write love
Huxley
letters.
can be something else. Sun Master, the Lythander and the sun and the thing.
Lysander's blessings upon
I don't think I've ever
yeah,
had a
that.
Sun Master before.
Well, it's a new thing. Let's just try it out, maybe.
Isn't that just called a babysitter?
Yes.
Oh.
Except in this case, he is the baby.
Right.
I'm a young adult.
How old are you, Huxley?
I'm 25.
Oh.
Can you count to 25 for me, Huxley?
Well, sure. 1, 2.
And suddenly it's a
3,
remake of doing the bottles all over
4,
again. Welcome back to session 1.
5,
And now we have a cowboy
7,
hat.
12, 14, 18, 17.
17, 18,
5, 6, 7, 8.
10, 11, 12,
Huxley, you're trying too hard. I think your brain is going to explode. Maybe you should stop now.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't want to. Yes, I
Don't
will
explode
stop.
on us. That would be a mess.
Clack, in the meantime, while
just
they've
allow
all been
Lythander
discussing
to
this,
bless the count.
you've noticed
Okay,
that
so
Godfrey
there's
has
blessings
gone
upon
out the other door at the far end of the room.
Considering that just conversation that just happened, that exchange there, I would like to pull away Nerida and Remy and kind of point to the different runes and stuff, and just point them out as being familiar to previous ones.
As you try to approach Nerida, the crowd around her is quite protective now because Stiffens has told them that they need to protect their captain and whatnot and guard her.
Meh.
So
Okay,
they're
I'll
not
just
really
go to
interested in letting
Remy.
you come close.
And I'm out of leeches, so I mean I can't disperse a crowd as easy.
Yes, Aathos?
Just point out all the runes and remark about their familiarity to previous runes that were seen. Are they closer to Draconic, you said, right?
They are, however, the wording in them as you try to read them makes no sense. It talks about things that are giant. They talk about things that are goblin, and then you start to see some other words in there.
No.
They talk, and then all of a sudden, as you do, I need you to make a wisdom check, please.
Is this what
Okay.
I think it is? Oh.
Bye.
Oh no.
17.
As you do, you find that the words that you're reading bring up a strange thing in your mind, and as you do, something literally shifts like a gear inside your head, and you are overcome momentarily. You see Aathos start to shake. His entire body from the head down, and his whole body being starts to shake for the next 10 to 15 seconds until finally, when he does, the stuttering is gone. And Aathos, as you have read this, you realize you're reading something that you've experienced before, something that you were programmed to understand before. It's draconic prophecy of what will be engraved into the
I think
very
you're hot
walls.
liking Colton.
I guess if that's the case, I'll just go ahead and start reading off whatever it says out loud.
Instinctively, he starts reading in the languages that are primary to him, both the Draconic and the Goblin. So, Klaak, you would understand some of the words that he's saying as he starts reading this off out loud, untranslated, this Goblin idea that the giants, who were these mortal enemies to the goblins, age of old, had this strategy. And here is the place where the repository, which is a strange word that they use, of all the wisdom for the battle ahead. And when it is finally uncovered, those who come in here will leave prepared for the battle because the wisdom of the past goblins will be able to rise them up once more.
I think we've come to the right place, but it's not God's temple. It's something else, maybe, is what you're saying, huh?
I want to walk over to Klaak, and then I'll crouch down to eye level and just say, sounds like a pretty good preparation for a king, right?
Nerida, one of your crew, these humans that have gathered around you, has brought to you a cloak as well as a purplish-looking candle and some other miscellany that they found on a crushed body near the rubble.
I will take the cloak and the candle, and I will look them over, and I will say, good job. Remy, are these magical?
I'm
I can
not
look
some
it over
magical
for you.
divining rod, Nerida. I have to be able to hold them and look at them and
I
inspect
hurl
them.
the candle at Remy.
Go ahead and make a dexterity, or I don't even, just straight dexterity.
Remy,
This candle
Remy
comes chucking through the
yelps.
night.
Nerida, you really shouldn't throw things at him. He's very skittish.
Oh, you're right.
You have to respect other people's feelings.
Now, Nerida, I need to. Ow! 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 There's wax on my forehead.
Is it magical wax, though?
I don't. Aathos just vibrated for the past 10 minutes and he wants to know about a stinking candle.
What about this cloak? Make way, and I'll come over to Remy.
The people
I'll
part
hold up
as
the
she comes over to you using her 5-foot dagger to go in that direction. And you realize
I'm sorry
you can,
if I
you
hurt
can
your
actually
poor little noggin.
compliment yourself on the back because you threw into the pitch darkness just guessing at where he was, and clearly your skill was just that good that you smacked him right in the head.
Or his dodging skill was just that bad that he ran right into the way of it.
You come over, she presents you with this reddish colored, burned colored cloak. It appears to have no damage on it whatsoever.
Rembrandt will take it and gosh.
You have time if you need a few minutes.
Do I now? All right. I'll attempt to cast Identify as ritual casting, but we know how that went last time.
So ritual is 10 minutes, right?
Yes. So
While
we'll
this is
begin
going
that
on, I'm going to look over my followers and I'm going to say, Mateys!
Many of them
I want everybody
respond.
to investigate the corners of this room. Make sure there are no traps. Be careful. Do not die. If you die, your pay is docked. That doesn't mean I'm paying you. I'm just saying it's docked anyway.
Stiffens immediately starts badgering and pounding them, like describing to them that, when she says mateys, that means you kick somebody in the butt, tells them what to do and whatnot, basically getting them in line to follow their new captain's orders in a much better fashion as they start going around the room.
And in the meantime, Huxley would like to go over and check on Aathos.
Aathos has just stopped his shaking by the time Huxley comes over, and Aathos, as you come to, and you're in the middle of chanting all these words and just spilling them out, everything that you've been reading, Huxley approaches you.
Are you okay?
Just reading the words that it seems one else cannot. Pat him on the shoulder and then talk to Colton, or not Colton, to Klaak about the runes on the wall and the different prophecies and the war about goblins and giants. I'd like to just start explaining it off one more time for him, and I'm going to see if I can't translate it all into either goblin or common.
Okay. Easy enough to try to find some of the words and translate most of it into common so that others can understand now what you've read.
I'm going to listen into what Aathos is saying. Does any of this sound like any of my knowledge of Goblinkin before?
Yours actually, nothing about the goblins, no. Nothing about goblins, but you do actually, when he's talking about giants, you know something of the giants, and there is ancient history within the pirates that the giants were the seafarers. But that's all legend and lore because giants are a myth anyway, but supposedly giants were the seafarers of the sea. They were the mightiest on the sea at one time in their life, if you went back far enough.
Okay. Thank you. Well, if one is to believe that giants existed at all, they were not just landlubbers, they were also the mightiest upon the seas. Second to none.
I'll say that I have every reason to believe that giants exist in Giant.
What are you saying? I can't understand you.
Words in giant. Pay it no mind. Giants did exist. Enough to have a language of their own. Own.
Do you require healing? I'm very nervous about the the stutter that you have.
I think he is actually better now.
He'd probably give you a kind of a short smile and then a pensive look and say that it gets better, and then give Huxley another pat on the shoulder.
Huxley would like to put a hand onto each of his shoulders and start praying over him. And even though this won't do anything, I just kind of want to use my channel divinity of Preserve Life, which, as an action, you present your holy symbol evoking healing energy that can restore a number of hit points equal to 5 times your cleric's level, but you can only heal them like up to the halfway point. But I'm just throwing the whole Preserve Life on him anyway.
There you go, buddy. I don't know. Are you at half health? I'm pretty sure you're way higher than that, right?
Yeah, no, he's fine.
Yeah,
I thought so.
I haven't taken any
Just
damage.
let you know that Lathandra's love is upon you, and may whatever is ailing you be healed, and might you be able to speak your mind from now on.
Well, it looks like Huxley's love is upon me. I don't know about Lathander, and I'll look over my shoulder to Klaak and be like,
I think
It's very rude to talk behind
Alex.
somebody's back to their face.
Remy hears this whine in the distance, and you realize that Godfrey is not with you at all. And the whimper has come through the doorway at the far end of the hall.
So, was that your dog?
I think so. Godfrey, and he runs to the doorway immediately.
Everybody else is, other than Nerida saying something, she must have heard it too. You run from everybody else towards the far end of the hallway, come around a corner. Again, you can see in the darkness here. There's no magical darkness or anything. It rounds a corner and opens to another room. There you actually see that Godfrey is pinned under what appears to be a statue of some sort. Whether it's fallen over, it's very strange.
He'll immediately run to the statue and try and free Godfrey.
This massive statue is made of metal and was probably standing 20 foot tall not long ago. One of the legs appears ripped off of it, and it's now laying on top of him, and he's pinned and trapped underneath, struggling to try and get free.
Rembrandt will probably get his try and use his javelin as a lever or something to try and pull it off, because of something that big he wouldn't even try to
What
do
is
it
your
a
strength?
normal way. Quite low, I think 9. Yes.
Okay. Even with your lever and your mechanical knowledge, you actually do. While you're unable to do it, you realize two things. First of all, it's going to require a lot more strength, a better lever, and you know that this lever will not do it because the lever you're trying to use will bend. You do realize that in this room, one of the other statues, there's about a half dozen or so that you can see. Vision distance, there might be more or less, but you can't take in the whole room. But one of the statues does have a large spear if you could break it away, but you wouldn't be able to do it on your own. Even if you could break it away, you'll need more strength and a better.
Folks, I need help. Godfrey's trapped, please. And Klaak, I need your strength.
ATs! Klaak!
Is the room gonna burn me?
I'm not sure, but he's in trouble, and it's not burning him.
Okay, and I'll start running towards Rembrandt.
Stephens, gather your strongest men and women and people.
Rembrandt will
We'll help the dog.
crouch down by Godfrey and sort of pat him and try and comfort him while he's being crushed.
It's right over his mid torso and whatnot. You're able to calm Godfrey, very well. He immediately takes the whimper and just lays his head in your lap, and you can see from your perspective where some of the wood has been cracked that you used from the ship and whatnot. Some of the metal has been bent. He will absolutely require repair. the men come rushing in and whatnot, and together, all these men lift the statue. No lever necessary. They just gather around it. Heave, ho, and the cannon monkey just gives them the advice. The petty officer shows them. They lift it up, and moments later, you're able to drag out Godfrey from underneath. Klaak, you in this room realize everything in here is Goblin. Everything, including right in the middle of this room. The chair sitting up front, there with a table laid in front of it. It looks like old parchments and whatnot. In fact, there's something resembling a crude goblin bed over on the side, but it's actually made of metal, which you're like, wow, that's like really overly done. The entire room is the finest things. These massive statues, the goblins and whatnot. Taking in the room, those of you that can see in the dark can see far enough to some of the walls to be able to take in that what appear to be bookshelves, maps, other things. There's some paraphernalia around. I know Remy is focused on Godfrey for the moment and whatnot. The captain's guards are all around her. Aathos, when you come into this room very specifically, you have a sense of familiarity. You have not been here before, but you have been somewhere very similar to this. You recognize immediately what it is, and we'll get into that here in just a moment, but you know your way around. You're like, oh, okay. So you're not lost in this room. Anybody
Probably
else?
looks like he's a little lost, wandering a little bit.
Okay, yeah. So you start taking in and verifying various information. Athos wanders off into the darkness. Because you can see in the dark, yes? No.
No.
You
I'd
can't.
be limited to whatever everybody has light to.
So I will recant a little bit of what I said because you're one of the ones that can't see in the dark. So you, Huxley, Nerida. Now, Huxley, no, I take that back. Huxley, you have an ability, right? Yep. Okay, yeah. So it's just you and Nerida. There are the issues. Remy, Klaak, and Huxley are good.
I wasn't built with those specs, unfortunately.
What would Remy, Huxley, and Klaak like to do? What is your intent?
Remy will immediately start trying to, because it's more specialized. I'm sure that this may not work as, since Godfrey's got that special thing inside him. This might not work quite as well. But normally the way you heal a steel defender is by casting mending. So that's what Rembrandt's going to do to at least reduce some amount of the damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mending will sit there, and as you do this, it has an extra special effect on your animal rather than just fixing one break of a certain size and then having to do it over and over and over again. It actually affects like a general area and whatnot. So you start working on all the mending, trying to heal him. One of the things that you notice instantly is that those gears that had changed shape and size in him are resistant to your mending. When you created him, you knew it had changed and modified, and you'd seen his rear end change and whatnot. But it seems almost like it doesn't want your mending skill. You're able to fix the wood, other parts of him, and you do a lot of healing to the dog. But for the first time, you realize there's something here that is not of you, that was not as intended.
Where'd you get that?
Klaak, what are you doing?
Am I calling you auxiliary lore master? I can't remember. What did we say?
Tertiary lore
Yeah,
master.
tertiary.
Change.
I don't think I would know that.
Master?
Turd Lord Master.
Is Aathos. Turd master.
Close enough.
Hey, do you think these are the giants they were talking about? These giant goblins? And I'll try to start explaining to him that there's these giant goblin statues in the room if he's not looking at them.
I don't even know if I can see them.
As he starts addressing you, Alex, Godfrey immediately starts growling at him and trying to get up on his legs.
I was talking to Aathos, sorry.
Okay, well, sorry about that. It's still going to work anyway because he's healing Godfrey and Godfrey's free now. So the fact that you're speaking in this room, yeah, Godfrey realizes something about Klaak that and is trying to become aggressive. You can hear it behind you as you speak to Aathos.
Godfrey, what's the... No, quiet down, boy. They're all friends here.
He follows your commands, but clearly is not happy as he does so.
Yeah.
You're able to read
Been
it.
growling at Aathos for a while now. Ever since the slime.
Yes, odd. I think he might just be scared, though. Gone through trauma.
Huxley, what are you doing? What's your intent?
Huxley would like to keep an eye out just in case, because everybody's gathered around the dog and making sure that the dog is okay. Which kind of, I know we have a lot of men around like that, but all the prisoners. But Huxley would just like to keep a general eye out in case something tries to sneak attack them or anything else.
Probably the biggest influence for sneak attacks would come from all these individuals who are now part of Nerida's crew being forced into servitude by Stiffins and whatnot, and those that aren't happy with that. But it's just a big unknown. You got 20-some people there that are just a complete unknown at this point. Many of which are obviously following her command. Other things, by the way, Alex, you were not able to complete the detect magic because you went after Godfrey.
That's fine.
But it was nice because you were able to use the cloak to hold his head on your lap, there for a while. You'll have to redo that one in a little bit. As you do, Huxley, the best vantage point is actually up on the altar. Did you want to stand on the throne? I mean, that would get you the highest point in the room, you're pretty sure.
No, Huxley's good. After doing a quick check over.
Oh, there's a throne?
Huxley will go over and join the others and check on the doggo.
See, somebody needs to get Nerida light, then she would know some of this. Right now she's just standing in darkness surrounded by her peeps.
Would you like me to cast healing upon your dog?
It doesn't really work that way. Not your type of healing could, how do I put this? Well, I doubt it would do any harm, but I think it might be better placed on, how do I put this? Non-constructs. I've already cast a spell.
Huxley stands at you blankly, still having the giant eyeball up on his shoulders. I don't believe he ever went off of his shoulders.
You still have Monty.
Yeah, I still have Monty.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. All right, gotta give you some plot points for that one. I totally forgot that you've been carrying this stupid, oh man, on your shoulders the whole time during the battle, no less, running forward with this thing on your shoulders. It should have rolled off.
For some reason, he was so out of breath.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I'm giving you extra plot points. It made sense.
Didn't it get repaired and no longer was under my control?
Yeah, but then it got hurt again.
It lost
the leg.
Only in the leg, though. It got hit by a rust.
Yep.
Yeah, by the rust monster.
Yep. Now it only has the one leg. But yeah.
I think constructs have humane value.
Interestingly,
at least personality.
The construct upon your shoulders, and all of you can hear this, starts to speak, but it's not in a way that many of you understand. And some of the words that you can gather from what it's saying is that it needs to complete a function.
Do you speak common, Monty?
And it says, this monodrone is, and launches into this long numeric code and refers to, we are functionary for, and words that you just don't understand. But then it keeps trying to go back to this common tongue as it describes, we are to complete the light, preservation of this, cleaning orders, and starts going into all of this again, and it appears to want to get down off your shoulders.
Not right now, Monty. That's not a... You should probably stay up there for now. You can't walk.
What if we give it
I think
some...
it could hop, Huxley. I mean, if it needs to do something in this room, who are we to stop it?
We are people who care about its health.
Does anybody have any extra rope?
I mean, I think we've used rope quite a bit.
We have.
We left
But
most
I have
of it
some
back over
pythons
the
we
pit.
could jury rig. We could jury rig a leg for its other leg with some of my pythons.
I think you have better luck with me doing some sort of miraculous construction than having a peg leg of pittance.
These are useful, okay?
How about we leave the engineering to the artificer and we leave the pirating to the pirate, huh?
I'll allow it.
Well, to be fair, Nerida was trying to do the pirate thing by giving Monty a peg leg.
All right, that is fair, Aathos. You do have a point. I like that you're more verbose now. You're funny.
If I wanted to give it a peg leg, I would use torches instead of pitons. I was being considerate of the fact that it is metal.
Godfrey, I should make you do jokes sometimes. Well, have you do jokes sometimes. Not make you do jokes, but have you do jokes sometimes.
You're gonna smack Remy. Just
we
upside
have
the head.
torches?
Yes.
Oh, what was that for?
I don't know, but I feel like you deserved it.
I don't think I deserve it.
You will have eventually.
Moral compass of life panda. Did I deserve that?
And some of the crew that are around Nerida at that point ask if they should take care of the Tiefling.
There will be no taking care of here, thank you.
One of them growls at you to shut up because the captain hasn't given you permission to speak. Clearly, the mob is slowly being swayed.
Huxley would like to punch him in the face.
What did I say about respecting the healer? Now you've been punched in the face by him. What did you expect?
What do you want me to roll?
You don't need to roll anything because this guy couldn't even see in the dark as you walked up and just clocked him in the face and knocked him on his butt.
This is what happens when you don't follow orders. We're not killing the tiefling, and we respect the doctor.
I'm gonna go and inspect the throne.
Cleric.
Klaak, as you approach this goblin seat that's just on an elevated area, there's a large spike next to it with a round platform at the top. It's kind of weird. It's standing there. I want you to make a intelligence-based check for me, please. Yeah, I know it's not your strong suit. But maybe you'll roll high. Who knows?
Well, I guess investigation would be the best.
No,
it is
just
touch.
At least it's not
all right.
Wisdom, right?
Does that have a minus next to it? Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, so it's a 10. Based off of it, yeah. You actually pick up on the fact that this platform, because you didn't botch it, it appears like it would be a candle holder. Like you could put something on it, like where you would normally put a lantern or a candle or something.
You mean the candle that was thrown at my head and probably still on the ground?
I've sent someone to fetch that candle, by the way.
Hey, Lore Master, I have something here.
Which one?
I think it would hold some light. Maybe that would help some people. Does anyone have a torch?
Yes.
What kind of holder is it? Let me come see.
Is it like a brazier or?
Alex, you recognize as you get close, because you can see in the dark, that this is absolutely a candle holder. In fact, it looks like it's probably never been used because there's no wax left over on it. It's just clean.
Does anyone have that candle that Nerida found?
And as Alex starts saying that, Huxley, the monodrone on your shoulder, once again, is trying to get off. You marched with it over there to punch the guy in the face, and it's really struggling to get off your shoulders.
All right, I suppose just be careful. I don't know if there's more of those little creatures down there. I have no idea where they came from. I don't want you to get rusted. And Huxley will put down Monty.
Puts down Monty, and Monty immediately starts hopping over towards the throne and towards where the Alex, the artificer, Remy is. And as he's chanting again, some of the words don't make any sense, but some of them are Goblin, which means our Goblin can understand it, both Aathos as well as Colton. And he's talking about, again, candle, lighting, duties. He uses the word what we're supposed to do a lot, cleanliness, state of the room, and both of you catch the fact that he uses the word Dorseil a couple times as he's speaking. The individual he appears to be, and he's using the word in Goblin for candle a lot.
What about that candle that
Do you speak
Nerida
Goblin?
just... Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In Goblin.
Yeah, I think we have to light this here. We could. I think a lot of people could see more, and the little wheeled creature wants us to put the candle here too.
All right then. Someone bring the candle, and I think we have some tinder boxes to light it with.
I do for sure. I can light a candle. Let me see, and I'll go and look for the candle. I guess.
Alex.
That's shit by Remy.
Actually, everybody make a perception roll for me. And yeah, none of you saw the fact that one of Nerida's guys picked up the candle because she said she sent somebody to fetch it. So
That's a 12 for Rembrandt, a 15 for Klaak, and 6s for Aathos and Nerida. And
thank you.
they were willing to.
All right, 6s. We got a 12. We got a 15, and we're just waiting on Hux.
What am I doing?
Perception.
Roll.
You're perceiving things.
Because Remy and Klaak and Huxley, which actually is kind of interesting because you were all kind of like focused on the Mondro going back to the altar, hear this from the far side of the room opposite where Nerida and Aathos are. This kind of like scraping, ripping, and then a snapping sound. Part of the reason Nerida and Aathos can hear is just because the mill of people around them make noise as they talk and breathe and do other things. But you hear this, and it's like metal on metal, then there's a cracking and a ripping sound. Remy, you realize something. Godfrey's not with you.
Blast it, where has he gone this time? Godfrey! And start calling out and looking for him. Has anyone seen my dog?
You hear a bark, and it's from the same direction as you just heard this ripping sound.
Goes towards that noise.
There's a general.
I think there's another goblin here.
There's a general response of no, and then all of a sudden, as you're walking towards it, you see him right at the base of one of these large statues, and he looks over at you, and he's ripped off one of the legs of the statue, and there's a snapping sound as this statue starts caving forward, again about 20 foot tall, straight towards you. And Godfrey has stopped, called by you, in front of the statue, this leg in his jaws, which have gotten wide to get around the leg, and looking at you, and this statue's coming straight down towards him and you.
I guess we're attacking statues now.
So you realize that it's probably going to come and crush you and Godfrey. Are you just like announcing
Right
this, or
then.
maybe running, or?
Okay,
Possibly.
sorry, I didn't catch the angle part. Rembrandt will try and grab Godfrey and like pull him out of the way.
Yeah, I can't give you that one, Strangerling, that NPC redeemed, so I'll give you back the points. This setting is kind of locked for the moment. I can't throw in, that goes for anybody, Shade. Don't throw in any NPCs because I can't. Well, actually, I could. Never mind. I can, because we can make it as part of that your crew. There you go. So there's an old goblin woman in the crew now. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. There you go. Yeah, I was like, I can't interject a person in here, but yeah, we have the, there we go. I can do that. See, where there's a will, there's a way. All right, sorry about that, Alex, you were saying?
Rembrandt will do his best to grab Godfrey and like get them both out of the way. So sort of like a sprint and, grab and dive of maneuver. I don't know how good he is at doing that, but that's the best he can do in the circumstance.
You start sprinting, instead of away from the statue, you start sprinting straight forward to get to Godfrey, who's about to be crushed by this thing. You yell out for your dog, literally tackling him at the last moment to get him out of this, as this large statue comes crashing down. Having notified nobody else, the statue tips forward in the room, crashing forward towards the throne room, the center where everybody else is. Nerida, you're safe because you're on the far side of the room a little bit and whatnot. The statue comes down with a crash and a whoosh, and you guys all hear this. As this metal statue comes down, you're able to push Godfrey out of the way. You and he are safe. When the statue comes down, there's a cry of alarm from this goblin who has actually gone up to where the throne was. It actually happens to be the same woman that collected the candle when Nerida had sent one of her people to go get it. And this woman who's got this candle has stood upon the throne and places it on this little shaft, which Remy seems to know that it's definitely for a candle and whatnot. You guys were talking about it a little bit. But as she does, the flame immediately springs to light. Runes appear on the candle, and the entire room lights up from sources up above. You realize you're standing in a domed chamber. There's runes across the entire area. You all have normal vision in this zone. And she says, "Yes, let the worthy one come forth now. He is here. We who have entered the sanctum of Dorseil, seek your wisdom, Dorseil. We have made it past your challenges. Now give us your wisdom." And she speaks this aloud. There's a wind that starts whipping around. As she's speaking and the wind starts growing, Godfrey becomes visibly agitated. And there's this combination growl and whimper as you're holding him, Rembrandt. And he's down low to the ground, starts snarling a little bit more, possibly wanting to be released by you. Aathos, you take in this room, and clearly, again, you've seen a space like this before. Clearly worthy of somebody who's into the entire lore and the history. There are shelves loaded with maps, coils, scrolls, and you can see here also the signs of what appeared to be a battle, like there was fire or something near the doorway that you all came in on. You couldn't see it before in the darkness, but clearly somebody's tried to burn something. Some of the shelves have come down. There was a battle here at one time. But this room has numerous items. There are swords, including at the back of the room. Klaak, you are the one that takes notice of this. You're used to looking for weapons. You love the goblin weapons. But at the back isn't a weapon that you recognize any goblin could ever bear. You bear a massive greatsword suitable for a bugbear. But at the back is one that easily is 10 feet long. It's huge. It's unwieldy. Why would there even be such a weapon here? But clearly it was being examined, laid across a table at the back. With that being said, as the woman continues to call forth this being, Aathos, you recognize her chanting in both. She went from human into a goblin tongue as she started saying Dorseil's name over and over, talking about this worthy one, chanting to him. She's dropped to her knees on the chair, but the wind that was whipping seems to be coming in from where you were before. And along with it, you noticed something specifically, Aathos, because you were blasting it so much. The dust carried on the wind. The wind whips in, circles around the candle, carrying this dust, this bone ash, this I'm trying to find the word, they call it bone meal usually, but it's the calcium left over, whipping around the candle. And then it seems to go into the candle, and the light goes out, and you're all left standing in darkness. For a moment, there's cries from some of Nerida's crew, confused what strange magic is this. There's a cacophony of concern, the growling of Godfrey. But in the darkness, suddenly, the runes on the candle light up from the bottom to the top. One by one, the goblin woman scrambles down off the throne, and then the light appears again. And then as the light of the candle is lit, the ceiling opens up once more, the runes scrolling out down the sides. Aathos, you take them in. More draconic prophecy above you on the ceiling, these runes. And as the room comes into full light once more, there's a figure seated on the seat. A goblin. This goblin, tall and thin for a goblin, short for a human, sits there before you in unusual garb, fine garb, if you will. But there's something shady, something magical. It shifts as he moves and stands up, possibly a glimmer weave showing you what he wants you to see. And as you look at him, the robes depict battles being fought, goblins running almost like a movie screen over him. And then he speaks in Goblin. Who are you that enter my sanctum?
I am Klaak.
My name is Huxley.
I don't think we can understand it because
It's
in
Goblin.
Oh, it's all in
okay.
Goblin? Okay,
But I can picture
sorry.
Huxley blurting that out anyway.
This actually usually doesn't understand
I
what
keep
people are saying.
not hearing. I don't know why I keep not hearing. It's all in Goblin.
That's all right. Maybe I just need to talk louder. Go ahead, Klaak, Aathos.
Oh, go for it, Klaak.
Yeah, I'm Klaak. Nice to meet you.
Not even the Goblin
You,
King?
Cleric, the one, you have come in here. Your crew and others may wait outside then, and I shall give you the wisdom that you seek.
In Goblin, I'd like to say, I'd like to request to be able to watch this at least.
You, the construct, come forward. And he's saying all this in Goblin. I don't know if anybody wants to ask him to speak anything else.
Klaak, what's he saying?
Some of my friends cannot understand the noble tongue. Would you mind speaking the lesser known?
Of course, Cleric. And he switches and says that in common. And says, he goes, I am prepared for whatever visitor comes seeking the wisdom. As long as they have paid the price, the jars are... And he pauses and looks over and he goes... And he swears in Goblin a vile curse. And he goes, of course, the priests. It turns out that I owe you a debt of gratitude, Cleric. He says, for you clearly have restored me. He says, I trust the priests are dead.
I am alive. So
He scowls in your direction and says, so you are part of his crew. Cleric, why would you bring one of them back?
We brought none of them back. This is someone I brought with us.
I'm confused. What is
My
the
name
date?
is Huxley. Hello.
The date.
Yes.
Oh gosh,
How
I
do you
think
reckon the
it's a
calendar?
Tuesday?
Have they changed it again?
Rembrandt will say the date as he knows it.
This one is not part of. This one is part of my crew, not some priestly crew. He is a.
I am a part of the worshippers of Lathander.
You're part of my crew.
You speak the date of Galifar, and he says, so it is still the Gallifreyan calendar. Very well. He says, and which of them currently would rule? He goes, is the war still on? It seems clear that he's referring to the Great War that has rocked all of Corvair when the throne of Galifar split and the 5 children basically started fighting over it and whatnot. That ended actually when Kyrie was destroyed. And then they made the Treaty of Thronehold, which has created 12 separate nations on Corvair now.
Well, it really depends who you ask. Many of us still feel the aftershocks, but there's I suppose you could call it an aggressive ceasefire of sorts.
Rule differently. Different places.
He puts his hands together in front of him. Of course. So the time is now. And finally a goblin seeks the wisdom of how to rule. Cleric, you and the Forged One will come forward and receive the blessings of my wisdom. As for the crew that you used to bring here and emotions generally in Nerida's direction and the others, you may go out. And then he stops, looking at the dog, which is continually snarl. And Alex, I need you to make a animal handling check to try and keep him in place, your dog. You have advantage because it is your dog. You may roll twice.
I will return
18.
in just a moment. I heard
18, and I
clattering
will redeem
outside
one
and
of
I have
your...
nephews.
Oh, that's only for nat 20s. Darn it, I can't use it here. I was going to burn that on you. Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to burn like 3 of them. Reroll that 18.
Okay.
It's not a 20, but it's my last night with you, so I'm burning 3 of your 8 rerolls. Darn, I'm burning another 3. Reroll it again. Yes, that's a roll that I like.
I'm giving him 10
No,
plot
no,
points.
I don't accept your plot points.
Aw.
No, I'm trusting the DM.
Godfrey burst forth from your thing. You're like still screaming at Godfrey. Relax, calm down.
Damn it, Godfrey! No,
Godfrey launches away from you straight at this goblin up on the throne, growling, snapping. You guys see, and Remy, you can particularly see because you're realizing his rear jaw. When you first created him, I described the way once you put in the gears that his rear section literally kind of went out almost like a mastiff, like a huge dog. And now as he's galloping, his body is changing again, taking on this more aggressive stance of a larger dog, and he launches through the air up at this goblin that's speaking, the goblin that stopped snarling when he realized he's here. What's up, Nerida?
Can I use my whip to try to whip Godfrey back?
Does your whip
Since I
have
know
some
that it's
special
sticky?
ability?
No, I just was asking if I could try.
Sure. Usually we have ready action for that stuff, but yeah, go ahead. Whip out your whip. Let's do this.
I
love it.
It's a dex check, right?
Sure.
With a whip, 1d20 plus
I love it.
4 plus 2. Okay, 15?
15. You whip out with this whip that was coiled at your side, striking at Godfrey to pull him away. And as soon as the whip
I'm not trying to
wraps-
hurt him, I'm just trying to pull him away.
I understand. As soon as the whip wraps around Godfrey, Godfrey disappears. Flash, gone. You pull back the whip, and he's gone out of sight.
I didn't mean to do that.
And
Rembrandt stands up very slowly.
and Remy
And he
gets to
just
his
begins
feet.
walking
The
forward.
goblin who had lifted up his hands and immediately started to chant, and you see like this greenish flame appearing between his hands. When the dog disappears, he stops, looks over towards Nerida, nods, but there's this growling, snapping sound, and many of Nerida's crew are going down. It appears, and you can tell by the sounds, you've all heard Godfrey before, he's reappeared somewhere back behind Nerida amidst all her crew gathered there, and now they're literally being ripped apart by this dog that's ferociously fighting its way forward. But the crew, seeing that their captain has clearly wanted to stop the dog, many are running, others are actually fighting, but they don't even have weapons to go against this dog, which is trained as a steel defender, and all they are is flesh before its jaws, before its claws, as they're trying to basically pile on top of it, hold them down, some of them being ripped at, clawed at as they're trying to come through.
What did I miss?
May I take an action?
Yeah.
I guess I can
right.
understand why they must wait outside.
Rembrandt's going to cast. That was hilarious. Rembrandt's going to cast thaumaturgy to make his voice boom, and he's just going to yell, "Godfrey, heal," and hopefully that helps. I don't know. He's not listening to me. This has never happened before.
I'm not sure either yet. We'll have to wait and see. The growling and snapping hasn't stopped right off. What do you guys want to do?
Okay.
Nerida, anybody else? Athos, Huxley?
What happened?
The dog
Godfrey-
went to try to attack the goblin.
And then Nerida made him disappear and reappear amongst her people. And
Somehow, with the with my whippity whip.
I don't really like any of those followers anyway, so I suppose it's not. a big
Excuse
deal.
you!
Huxley, what do you want to do?
Oh gosh, I can't let the dog start biting on people.
But who's more valuable, a dog or people? This has been tested and tried in movies.
Both! Both are valuable!
Which one upsets us more? when we lose them?
Huxley's going to cast blindness on Godfrey.
Let me check his sheet if he even can have that condition. Let's see. Yeah, he can be blinded.
Okay, he needs to make a... What is that? A Constitution saving throw.
Would you like me to roll with
10.
disadvantage? Oh, wait,
Oh,
no, he
oh,
gets to
it's-
make it. No. Yeah, no. That's
Okay.
right. Alex gets to make it.
Okay,
I'm
he
sorry,
doesn't make it. The save was a 14.
Okay. Godfrey's now blind and attacking things, so now he can attack me.
And I will give plot points for that because that's exactly right. It's like he's blind, but he's on a mission right now, and that ain't stopping him. He's like, now he's just ripping wildly, realizing he's under attack and whatnot. But over this all is Remy's booming voice. Godfrey, calm down. Godfrey, calm down. Yelling at him to try and get him to pull back. In the meantime, this goblin up on the throne speaks and he says, "What are you doing? Why would you even bring that in here?"
He's my creation.
And the goblin whips its head at you because you've been coming across and you're booming your voice, and he says, "Lies! That is a thing of the giants, unchecked, here in our sanctum." And he whistles between his fingers, and he says, "Guardians, subdue." And with that, the 4 remaining massive 20-foot tall statues come to life. And along the walls, what you had thought was a lower decoration, round brass orbs roll out. Multiple modrons take feet underneath them. And amidst this, Monty's still hopping on one leg, trying to all basically go towards this group of pirates, this group of humans. But the goblin statues, some of which had a spear, some of which had weapons, start literally reaching down and snatching at people, pulling them into the air and whatnot. The one that was on the floor, which previously had a leg ripped off by Godfrey and was in front of the door and had pinned him, starts crawling towards the mass. The other one, which Godfrey has brought down most recently, similarly activated, starts pulling on 3 legs across, knocking some of these tables and other things aside, coming straight at Nerida and her crew. Basically, all of you are in the way. Klaak, you would have the easiest way getting away, but most of you stayed kind of towards the front and whatnot. But Klaak, you had come forward a little bit, so... and Huxley, you had gone up to the throne last, so you and Klaak actually would be able to get easiest out of the way if you want.
Sure.
I don't know what your intents are, if you just want to stand there or you want to defend the humans, or what do you want to do?
Well, I would like to defend the humans.
Okay.
What? I just want to ask, I just was going to say that Aathos wants to ask Remy what he made Godfrey from.
A set of gears. We found them in underground, but it was mostly my design. Well, at least 50%.
And all the pieces?
Well, some were made from the materials on hand. It was a dire straight.
Durgar parts.
Yes.
Didn't you say that the giants were seafarers? And wasn't there a boat down there in the Underdark? Did you make the pieces of Godfrey from that boat?
It was what I had on hand. I mean, I don't see why that would be a problem.
It was a magic boat, wasn't it?
So all the better to build a dog with. I don't understand the problem here. Godfrey, please stop. Gods above, what is even... How did I get here?
Sean, you're muted.
Oh, sorry about that. That was my bad. So as you guys are having this discussion, the goblin statues continue forward, rending again, pulling humans away and whatnot to try and get at this dog, this thing that's attacking. Numerous humans are thrown aside because some of them, again, trying to defend their captain. Other ones running and screaming. Some have run out of the room and whatnot. Humans are killed left and right. These statues don't seem to care anything for them but getting directly at this dog. And as they do so, the goblin who has unleashed the statues and told them to subdue and whatnot starts yelling. He goes, "You're wasting their lives. You're wasting their lives. They're shattered." And you realize that a couple, as I said, the statues have held up humans in their hands. But the other ones that are crawling across the floor are just squishing as many up against the wall as possible and whatnot. You realize that there's something, he's trying to keep some alive for some sort of reason, but you don't know exactly what it is.
Remy, put your dog in check.
I'm trying. He's not listening.
You can make another animal handling check as they've cleared out the humans from off of him and started to grab him.
Do I still have advantage?
I would probably say no. I think the advantage and the disadvantage are
Okay.
going to cancel each other out and just leave a roll.
16.
But as you do, and
Add
they
4 plot points to that.
sure can, absolutely. So it becomes a 20. And as you do with the 20, thanks to Nerida participating as well, they have the dog in hand. But what ends up happening is the dog calms down slightly. At least it's gone from snapping and clawing to just growling in their hands. Thanks, Shay, for being here tonight. Much appreciated. Have fun at your one shot.
Have a good night, Shaden.
You know, the goblin stands up on the throne and says, "What is this work? What have the giants come up with now?" Asking, and you've clearly made it clear that you made this thing. And he says, "And why would you work for them? You're one of the new races anyway."
Sir Goblin!
I work for no one. I work for myself. He's my creation.
I think this is a misunderstanding.
How so?
This one, and I point to Remy, is a very, very smart human. Tiefling.
Did you
whatever.
just call me a Southerling?
Yes, whatever he is. He's a tiefling, but you might consider him mortal.
I think I'm gonna be sick. I thought we were
You might.
friends.
We are-ish. This one is a very smart tiefling, very smart mortal. He likes to tinker and invent things that he does not understand fully, and he found some parts that were at the bottom of some water.
Did you have you had your ring fixed? Did you put it back?
Yes.
Did he finish putting it back together? 'Cause
Yes.
I thought it was
yes, and
underneath.
I'm wearing it.
As you're speaking, he stops. He says, "What is it to you of the water people?"
It is of importance that my followers and that you are not attacked by this creature, but that we also respect that this one has some powers of creation. Maybe he should be out of the room while you speak.
He who would play with the giants, you who are built to defend the waters. You and your entire line are supposed to hold back the plains. Why? Why would you even allow him to resurrect and bring back one of the giants' very things that set so much imbalance into the world? If the giants still controlled the sea, you would have no purpose at all. It's clear by the ring you wear.
Is it not in the best interest to understand one's enemy, and how better to understand one's enemy than from within?
Have you forgotten that the giants are our enemies?
That is the point. To better understand what they are made of and what they can do, we have this one.
And so he looks to Remy. He says, "You claim to be an expert on giants, teaching them and understanding them, and yet you would bring that here? You would create
The foolish boy,
that?"
he knows not what he brought into whose court.
So first I'm intelligent, and now I'm foolish. Honestly, are you really gonna keep on listening to... No! Godfrey is my creation. I'm not going to kneel to some sort of... who the hell even are you at this point? Some wise man who's so terrified of a robotic dog?
As
A mechanical dog, rather?
Godfrey, sensing his master's unease, is able to bite the hand of the one that's still holding him, gets loose for a minute, gets to the ground, tries rushing at the goblin once more before the statue's able to come down on him and pin him to the ground again with a yelp and a howl. Clearly he hasn't, crushed the dog, but whether that's something just holding it or whatnot.
Clearly someone who's asking so many questions of something that I have made, of the origins of something that I have made, clearly may do well to be slightly more cautious, yes? Now.
And he looks to Keliak and says, "You, Keliak, if you came here for wisdom, why would you bring all this? This chaos, this confusion, these clerics who sought to destroy me? Those who have left their lands in the water. He who would bring the giant artifice
Why
in."
did the cleric... Oh, is he speaking in Goblin again?
No, he's speaking in common.
Oh, okay. Why the clerics want to destroy you?
They seek the wisdom, but they want it imparted to no other. I trust that you are not with them, but still you claim this Lathander that you mentioned before. Even you must know that the gods are gone. The gods do not answer. The powers you bear are just merely tapping into the flow.
The gods are all around us.
The gods are no longer here. The gods have been designed
Just because
elsewhere.
you see...
You
There's
don't
only
even
the
know what unit
manipulation.
is. Why would you know something about gods?
He says, Keliak, did you not explain that they were coming here to Dorseil's sanctum?
I have to admit, I was looking for this place, but I did not know much about it. I would have to feign that I am ignorant to what's going on. I gathered a group that could help me get to where I know I needed to be, but I didn't know how to get there without their help. And I don't think that any of them are here to hurt you.
It's right around that when you're saying it, that the humans, who many of which have been killed and whatnot, realize it's the perfect time because this guy's distracted and they bum rush. Try to get right up there. They're like, we're a mob. We can take them down the same way as they brought down the dog. And
I'm going
whatnot.
to try to get in front of them and stand them
I
down.
have 14 plot points. I would like to spend all of those, or as many as I can, to have Godfrey break free at the same time.
Okay. Well, for Godfrey to break free, because that is happening, it will be a lower number because at the end of the day, the statues are built to defend him. So we're not going to take all your plot points. We'll take 10 of them.
Can I try to make an intimidation check, yelling really loudly in front of them and bearing a weapon to stand down?
You can't jump in front of them because they had already had this plan, but you can absolutely yell and do that. Wield your weapon and try to intimidate. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to use my inspiration on this because I think I still have inspiration. And I think I have a devil's bargain as well.
Okay. Ooh, not 94.
Okay, 1d4. So that's 4, so that's 19, and I'm gonna add 6 plot points to it to make it 26. To make it 25.
25. Wonderful. The crew is like almost all the way up there. And like when she starts yelling and screaming at them because she realizes this is about to happen and they're going to take down the enemy for the ship. And they get about halfway up there and her yelling slows most of them down and whatnot. And the few stragglers at the front end up being on their own. At that point, the goblin who was turning, like realizing something is happening, releases the green flame that he uses as a reaction on those who are closest. And you see this almost green fireball-like effect whip out around the throne on that side, basically taking out the front 4 or 5. Nerida has successfully saved the rest towards the back, and she's probably still got about 10 guys because she did that. One of the ones that was at the front was Stiffens was actually not just prodding others, was he had rushed from the front leading them. And so Stiffens is wiped out, but you still have about 10 guys at the back. But what ends up happening is while he's turned, he's not focused on the statues, and Godfrey gets out from underneath, does this out from underneath, jumps onto a table, and launches right at this goblin again and whatnot. So go ahead and have him make a, let's do a dexterity roll. Make it athletics, or I'm sorry, acrobatics.
Okay.
Acrobatics. And that'll take the place of an attack roll because he's basically throwing his body right at him.
Can I get in the way of that for some amount of plot points?
No, because he's paid to already do that. So that one will go off on its own, but you can manipulate the plot in other ways if you want to try seeing this happen and, to react in a different way or do something else.
So, sorry, did you say athletics or acrobatics rather?
Yeah, because this is all him
right.
using his...
8.
An 8. Okay. As he does, literally, Klaak, who kind of sees him coming out from underneath, we're just having fun role playing. Klaak sees him underneath, tries to swing his sword, but Godfrey's like, oh, heck no. Jumps over the sword, but it also ends up putting him too high, and he leaps over the goblin who was so focused on frying these humans. One claw of Godfrey, as he's going by, just hooks the robe, pulling it away. And you get a better look at this goblin, who is clearly not just a goblin, but the back part of his head has no hair, is open flesh, and you realize you're looking at something that is clearly not alive, but not dead either, as the cloak is ripped from him, and Godfrey goes tumbling towards that large 10-foot sword at the back. And Dorseil turns and looks, head flipping back and forth, putting out an arm both ways, one towards Remy, who he's like, obviously you've released the dog and whatnot in his mind, and one towards the dog itself. Both hands starting to churn green flame. Top of the round, Nerida, what do you want to do?
Shit. I am going to pull out I have my whip out still, and since Godfrey's already attacked this goblin, and since we're seeing that he is something's weird with him, I'm trying to be respectful of him, so I want to whip Godfrey back again.
Okay, you'll probably have to make your movement and leave your crew to get over to where Godfrey landed, so that he's within range. So it's within your movement range. I'm just giving you a visual picture. You're going to have to leave them to get where Godfrey is. So you get over there, take a whip, go ahead and make an attack action on Godfrey. Alex, what's Godfrey's AC?
15.
Okay, so
15
she
just
hits
hits then.
Perfect. And as he does, let's immediately when it hits, Godfrey disappears again. And let me roll for direction. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Godfrey literally appears right at your side. The whip displacing him from where he was and placing him right at your side. Is that it for your move?
Yes.
Okay. So, Klaak. You had just swung at this dog. You saw it jump over. You see Dorseil exposed. Rush up there and defend him.
You are some kind of creature of ill repute. Maybe you are like a demon or something. And I'll ready against him now, defending my friends.
The demons and gods have been banished. Trying to keep my reply short. So, you say you're ready, and do you want to not do something, or you're setting up?
Yeah, I'm just defending in between him and everybody else. This idea is to kind of make myself big and have my sword ready.
So if there's an attack, you'll be able to respond to it, is what you're
correct. If he attacks anybody in my team, the 5 of us.
Okay, and it seems clear by the one hand pointed at Remy that that's where the attack's going to go. So you impose yourself in that direction. Aathos, what are you doing?
I would just like to kind of shout out to everybody and just say the situation has gotten a bit out of hand. Let's regroup in the previous room.
Okay, Aathos has spoken. Huxley?
Oh, goodness. This thing's undeadish, you said?
Yes.
Time for the cleric to do the cleric thing.
The cleric can't do the cleric thing. The cleric already used their channel divinity.
To
do something that didn't really do anything.
I think Huxley will cast Fireball at this creature.
Okay, Huxley cast Fireball, and because of Huxley's intelligence, not quite probably grasping that as the Fireball goes out, it is going to fill a vast portion of the area around it, encompassing quite a few others.
That's never stopped him before.
Yeah, I know. We start with a kerfuffle.
I thought this guy was up on the throne or the altar.
He is. He is. He's sitting on that goblin chair. He stood up now.
It's a 30-foot ball, right? So like very large.
I think Fireball's 20 feet.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
40
20
feet. Yeah, against him.
So the altar's very close then?
Within about maybe 25 feet, 30 feet. So yeah, you're gonna fill the majority of the room with the fireball. But I'm not sure Huxley would stop to think about that.
I think Huxley cares very deeply about the health of other people. So I don't think he's going to cast it. In that case, I think Huxley...
Tiefling will be fine.
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think Huxley is going to try and help people out of the room.
So hearing Aathos speak, you go back there and start, yelling, everybody get out of the room and whatnot. And that puts it down to the NPCs, which I left them right there at the bottom.
Did you intentionally skip me? I'm just checking.
I did not intentionally. I must have. You were supposed to go right after Klaak. I apologize. That was totally a faux pas. I was looking at my list and I just missed the name.
My job. This is a very easy turn. But I have a question for you as well. So Rembrandt's going to take the dodge action.
Okay.
But Godfrey's turn is typically on my turn. That's like normally how the mechanics go. So if you want him to do something, that is up to you. But Rembrandt's going to give 0 commands.
Did you just say Rembrandt's going to give 0 commands?
No, yeah, he's not going to like command Godfrey. He's
so you just want Godfrey to do something?
Yeah. If Godfrey was going to do something with autonomy, then...
Godfrey is attacking this son of a gun. He's going in full tilt. Like he bolts from Nerida side, and for you probably wouldn't have even noticed because he'd landed behind it, and suddenly you see Godfrey tearing off from the right of the throne out of nowhere. How the heck did he get there? As he leaps, crossing the distance, and going at this guy, and gets a nat 20 as he gets up there, and goes for both the bite and the claws, multi-attack. Oh, horrible on the damage though.
I like this dire wolf Godfrey we got right now.
Yeah.
He comes with a multi-attack.
He has changed a little bit from the Steel Defender. He literally goes in, barrel checks into ripping at this Dorseil pretender and whatnot. Gets around him and snaps the head right off his neck. Literally rips it away. The body going down as as Godfrey just starts ripping back and forth. The flame in his hands going out. And he just totally destroys, pulls the head right off. And in a sickening crunch as he drops to the ground, the jaws come out, unhinged, go around the head, and crush it. Totally. And as he does so, the candle goes out. The whole room is in darkness once more. When the candle goes out, the runes go out. What do you do?
Oh, jeez.
Good, bad, boy. Heal. It's all. That's all what he says.
You say this.
He's like, did I just kill like my idol?
You hear Godfrey, and he's already ripping at one of the statues that was holding up some of the people, and with it rips off another leg, and that statue begins to come down, crashing into the back, taking out some of the bookshelves, hitting that large 10-foot sword, and just shattering down. Some of the humans scream as they fall, still held in the now immobile statues. Other humans that were picked up by some of the other statues are yelling and screaming and whatnot because they're caught way up in the air, 15, 20 foot up in the air, being held up in the darkness.
Can I try to help and get some of them down?
Sure. How do you see that doing that? What are your thoughts?
Whip. The whip is clearly working.
Yeah, but we can't see anything right now because we're in darkness.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We need torches.
I lit a torch first.
There you go. So she's working on lighting a torch. Kellyak, what are you doing?
Well, I think we found the right place, and maybe we were just at the wrong time. I don't know.
The
And I'm just, like,
Modrons are still
confused.
active and appear to be trying to come towards the rest of you.
I don't know what to do now. I think we were supposed to get here, but I don't know what to do now.
Whatever that was, I don't think it was really meant for us. It seemed otherworldly and
There's
not
another rip
a good
as you're
way.
talking. Godfrey brings down yet another statue, ripping the leg off of it. And there's a
Rembrandt will
huge
start
crash.
yelling to try and
A couple
get
more
control
humans
of
come
Godfrey.
down, and it
Yeah.
shatters the altar and other things, and make an animal handling check for Godfrey.
Okay. 12.
Trying to
And-
save some people.
Now that she has a candle or a torch lit, she can see torch in one hand, whip in the other. Go ahead and make an attack roll for me. Let's see if you can grab one of these humans who, right before they hit the ground, and see if you can whip them away and save their life.
Alrighty.
To Remy's animal handling roll, can I turn that into a 20?
Most certainly can. long as
That's
he's
a
willing.
natural one
Oh yeah, those are
for a
bad.
total of 5, but natural one.
Aathos. That would be 8, which would be 57. Well, not 500. 57. Okay. No, you actually, like, literally, as the statue is coming down, you send out your whip and whatnot, just missing it. And again, the worst part is that the statues that were holding these humans in their hand, as they come forward and hit, literally crushing the humans first when they hit in their hands to the ground with the weight of the statue behind them, making some more human pancakes, blood everywhere. And again, shattering both the chair, the other things, knocking the candle and the other things down, hitting this. And Godfrey, on a rampage, is stopped when Remy commands him to heal. And the dog seems to fight it for a moment before coming over almost sulkily and, standing with its head somewhat down between its shoulders at Remy's side.
He's gone now,
Continue
boy.
growling.
You can stop.
It looks its head up at you and then shakes its head and just continues to growl, and its claws in the front digging into the ground as best it can, scraping across the stone.
I think it's best we get out of here, whatever way that means.
I don't know if there is a way out of here. Don't you want to find out what these things say? And I'll point towards the bookshelf.
This conversation is happening, and Aathos is still standing at the doorway like, exit's right here, where he was trying to lead everybody out,
Could I actually
Please
go and fetch that sword?
Which one? The at the back?
Yeah.
Sure. So Aathos leaves the doorway and heads towards the back, and Klaak was speaking to Remy.
Yeah, Rembrandt will say, well, I was more so thinking, yes, not those books, although I'm sure they're probably quite interesting. But there seemed to have been a deeper chamber or something, or he was alluding to speaking with you privately. I assume there's maybe something behind the altar, or something we're missing here. From everything I've heard of Dorseil, some sort of raggedy, whatever that was. And, I mean, no offense, but I think Godfrey's a marvelous creation. He gestures to Godfrey, and so no offense meant to him, but I've seen Godfrey fight before. I've designed a decent portion of. I'm not sure if that was really Dorseil, if he would have been, dispatched so easily.
Aathos.
I mean,
you by this point, while they're still talking, I want to try and keep time moving here.
Mm-hmm.
Athos, you get to the back, you lay your hands on the sword, and as you do, you start pulling. And again, it's a massive sword. What's your strength?
13.
13. Good enough to shift it over and whatnot. It's incredibly heavy. Again, 10 foot long. The blade is probably about 1 foot to 1.5 foot wide. I mean, it's the
Massive.
handle. Yeah, the handle. And when I talk about 10 foot long, I'm talking about just the blade. The handle itself has to be about 3 foot long. I mean, it's huge. This doesn't even, the proportions don't seem right. Handle for blade. I mean, who could even hold something this big? And as you're pulling it off, Godfrey freaks out the very minute, that you make contact with it and leaps from Remy's side. Remy, you're in the middle of this conversation with Colton talking about all this. Huxley, you see the dog jump, you start running forward. Nerida, you have a torch, so you see all this happen as Remy goes to it, or excuse me, as Godfrey goes to attack Aathos.
Do I need to roll initiative?
Sure, we can do that. I was just going to use the same initiative order and whatnot, but I wanted to see if anybody else was doing anything. Didn't know if anybody had a reaction.
I also know IRL, somebody apparently needs to talk to you, Legend and Song.
Yeah, I'm catching that, and I'm thinking I just really didn't feel like this was a great spot to end it. I wanted to answer some of your questions and whatnot, but it appears that is where we're going to have to end it and whatnot. So, hey, for all of our viewers, again, we did go long purposely. We were trying to find a really good ending spot for this. Didn't expect Dorseil to get his head ripped off and stuff, but you know what? I never expect anything with this crew. We give them a free world and a free reign. So, Klaak, if you'd lead us off, hand it to either Aathos or Huxley, do you three, then hand it to Nerida and Remy. Say all your goodbyes. I'm going to set us up for our next raid.
Hey, my name's Das Colton on Twitch. I stream occasionally some GTA roleplay and been doing some horror games. Been pretty interesting, pretty fun. Aathos.
Hi, I'm Daniel, and you can find me here on Twitch, Spook Nasty Man. I've actually been doing a little bit of doodling here and there, occasionally playing some games. It's been a little bit of a new adventure there, but I've also got a Twitter at the moment, which would be @SpooksSalty, where I just post some doodles and things like that.
And hi, I'm Kitty Doe. I do YouTube. I've just recently started doing Twitch, where I've been drawing daily as I work on producing my next animation to go up onto YouTube, and I story time. You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr and Facebook and just about anywhere under Kitty Doe. Same username as you. I will move it on over
Nerida?
to however.
Stranger's next.
Hi, I'm Stranger. It's been fun. My schedule may or may not change in the near future. I will let you guys know if it does, just due to things. But you can find me on the Twitters @Deck of Queers, where I do a little queer D&D podcast. We're queer, we're here. That's all. That was rude, but that's kind of...
I love it.
Love you all.
And now we're over to...
Our stream is is also a little rude, but not to you guys, because we love y'all. That's me.
Wonderful. Remy, that's you, sir.
Hi, I'm Alex. A lot of people also call me John or Jonathan. I do a podcast with my siblings. It's called Three Minds. We're returning to our recording activities, not this weekend, but the following weekend. And I'm actually pretty hyped about it. We're going to be talking about historic moments in soccer, which is something I don't know much about, but I have immensely enjoyed actually researching. It's really freaking awesome, some of the stories, and just like how much. But anyway, it's been an absolute privilege to be able to be on this show. Y'all are some outstanding role players, spooks. You in particular, I've seen sort of grow and become more comfortable quite a bit on stream, and just like expressing what I've come to acknowledge as being a pretty strong character and a very good sense of timing as well.
Yeah, put on the mask of shame. Put on the mask of blushing.
There we go.
The mask of blushing.
That's wonderful. Go ahead.
And Stranger, Kitty, Sean, Colton, all of y'all are outstanding. I've immensely enjoyed myself, and I'm going to be very. very sad to know that sadly, because of my schedule, I won't even be able to watch y'all live because I'll be working then. But I will definitely try and stay posted on all of this stuff, and it really has been very great. And I also can't say goodbye as a cast member of the show without thanking all of y'all in the audience. When we started this, I didn't think that I was not super optimistic about our viewer numbers, but Shade and Shackle, Dr. D&D, all of y'all, every single person, Spicy, Wolves Dad, Samurai, all of y'all are outstanding, and it's really been heartwarming to see y'all in the chat and just know that people like this really crazy thing called roleplay as much as I do. It's definitely a community I'm glad I tapped into, because I don't know where I would be without it. So yeah.
Amen.
That's me.
So you hear me always talk about we have some of the finest players, and truly we do. You saw it tonight. And it's never about the DM's plans. It's always about what emerges at the table. I had a huge climactic ending planned, and you know what? We did some other stuff instead, and it was a lot of fun. Whatever you're doing at your table, whatever game you're playing, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever, make it the best game possible. Learn and grow with one another. Again, great players aren't found, they're made over time. You just spend some time with one another, share the love. But whatever game you're at, make it the best game possible. From all of us here at Plot Points, I want to wish you happy gaming and God bless, friends. Bye from all of us at Plot Points.
Good night.
Night.
Adios,
And goodbye.
amigos.
And we're off rated.